Hello.
How you doing, Chris?
Good. Fucking freezing. This is the coldest room in the house. I also just had our December gas and electric bill through.
Oh,
Obscene.
bet-
Obscene.
I bet you're glad you're a successful trader.
It was like it wasn't the thing is, and I've had this conversation quite a lot. I don't care how much money I make. I'm still going to be the same person I am when I didn't have money.
When you first met me, you told me that, yeah.
And like I'm not into like flashy shit. Like I'm not into like Rolexes or flashy cars or anything like that. I just thought like for me, trading is about like freedom, right? I don't have to work. I get to walk my dog whenever I want. I get to spend all my time at home. It's just amazing. Like I said to you the other day, I have a great life. I love it. And I I, I really hope that I don't know, like maybe one day if I've got like millions in the bank, I might change, but I don't think I will. I think I know myself pretty well by now.
You're just content and happy at home, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw this bill come through. It was like fucking it was like nearly 500 quid for a month of gas and electric.
How big's your fucking house?
Four bed, but a big four
Ridiculous.
bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
Jesus.
So
Chris, where do you live again?
I went straight away, turned the heating down. I said to Anna, I was like, right, those lights aren't staying on anymore. Those and she came in here. To be fair, I've got two panel lights up here, so I'll show you. So I've got obviously this is on pretty much all day. I then got this one and this one, right? So I've got like these panel lights and stuff. So the lights on. She came in here. She was like, "You taking the piss?" She was like, "Yeah, I can't have my lamp on." She was like, "You just like fucking Blackpool illuminations in here." So yeah. Anyway, there's no lights being used. I've told Preston he can't watch TV anymore. Um, yeah. No, minute. Um,
Chris, where do you live again?
I live in the Cotswolds.
Oh, okay. Big four-bedroom house in the Cotswolds. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. I don't own it. We rent it, but
Oh
I'm
no,
not. I'm not like. I've never been in a rush. I've never been in a rush to buy property. Because when you actually look at property as an investment, it's great if you get in with a really
early.
good deal with a low deposit and you
Yeah,
build up equity, right? But
yeah.
the deposits these days, you have to put so much cash into it that actually, when you look at how much money your deposit will cost you, and you look at what the equivalent might be in rent, and then you've obviously got to look after the house. You've got to, or you know, all the things that break. Like if my boiler breaks, my landlord comes and fixes it, right? If any shit that we have, my landlord comes and fixes it. So I'm in two minds with it. For me, my big project, the thing that I'm really saving for over the next few years, I want to build a house. That's what I want. I want to buy a plot of land
That's a good plan.
and build a
That's the
house.
way to do it.
That's the
Yeah,
way.
that's kind of my focus. And when I was learning to trade, and I think I've said to you before, I had some real bad habits. I earned really good money. I was earning six figures in my corporate role. So I've always had a lot of money around, but I was always skint as well. Do you know what I mean? But we'd have like 4 holidays a year and we'd be going out all the time. And I was fucking drinking loads and putting shit in my nose and, doing all the
Well,
things that we
that
shouldn't be,
costs.
yeah, doing all the shit that we shouldn't be doing, right? And so although I earned loads of money, I never had any money. So I was never in a position to buy property. And now, my parents nag me all the time. They're like, look, you're in this position now. You should go buy a house. I'm like, I don't know. There's something about it. I'm just like, we love our house. Our landlord leaves us alone. We've been here for like 5 years. And yeah, we're just not in a rush. And so I think the big
Mm,
plan is get a load of cash together and
build.
build a big house somewhere. There's so much land around us as well. We've got like a golf course down the road. I use the golfing analogy all the time, and I probably should learn how to play golf because then I could actually, have some gravitas behind my analogy. But yeah, there's this. I go on this dog walk like twice a day, and it's about 4 or 5K, and it goes round the back of the golf course. And I stumbled upon this huge patch of land that just seems to be empty. It's not farmland. I don't know what it is. I took Anna there the other day and I was like, we've got to fucking buy this. We've got to find out who owns it. We've got to buy this. And then we just got to build something on it. But it's massive. I'm talking like you could build probably 10 houses on it. So maybe that's the big, maybe, how about this? We do a strong money Forex project and we all live together and we build this like really weird, like not sex cult, but maybe a sex cult. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? No, no, just me. All right, fine. Not if I take out the sex bit and just leave in the cult. Are we cool with that? Just a cult, a weird trading cult. Anyway, how is everyone? We all good?
Yeah, good.
Good, 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 good. I'm on day 2 of fasting today.
You
Right.
got 40 days.
I basically I'm trying to just get into some real good shape for the summer, and get rid of the Christmas cuddle, as I call it. And I've got a really strict kind of calorie limit per day with my training and stuff. I train quite regularly anyway, so I'm quite weird with my training and stuff. So I'm quite on it. I go to the gym 6 days a week. I run 3 times a week, so I'm quite active all the time anyway. But I put on weight really easily. I lose it really easily as well, and I have a really strict goal that I want to achieve. And basically, I said to myself, rather than doing it Monday to Friday, which I normally do, and then Saturday and Sunday letting it all go out the window, basically, you can eat whatever the fuck you want at the weekend, but you have to balance out your calories in the week. So I'm doing these fasting days in order to balance out the calories, which is all right. So I'm on day 2 of fasting this week. So I haven't eaten since yesterday evening, and I won't eat until tomorrow morning. So I've just got to get through. I've got to get through the next couple of hours, but I've got my evening all planned out, right? So we've got this session, okay, which will take us to like 7:30, and then we've got 2 episodes left of Day of the Jackal. Anyone been watching that?
I'll say I have.
Hang on. What? The second series?
No, there's only one series, isn't that? Day of the Jackal.
Yeah, yeah. Is it where is it on? BBC
It's
or?
on. Nah, it's on Sky.
Yeah,
I think there's only one series.
yeah, yeah. It's done. We've watched it all.
Yeah, so I've got 2 episodes left. So
Ah,
basically,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
he's just done the attempted the assassination on UDC,
Yeah.
and it hasn't gone to plan. And what happened last night? It's a bit of a filler episode. Oh, and the geezer in the prison just killed himself. He just necked himself. And that's kind of where I'm up to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I've got 2 episodes left, which will take me to 9:30, and then it's bedtime. So I'm good. Anyway, I'm blabbering. Right, let's get stuck into some charts. Before I do, does anyone have any questions for me? No? I mean, it's okay if you don't. You don't have to have questions. No one's got a single question about anything
After
what we do
probably.
with trading. Nothing at all. I don't believe it.
I've got a quick one actually.
Yeah, go on then.
You know, if you're taking an ISC and it's counter trend,
Yeah.
still okay just to take the MSU without like an FBTB?
Ugh. I
you know what I
don't
mean?
love it.
It's a tough question, right? But just playing the ISC, obviously it's going to be counter trend, so you're just like
Just pure
playing pullbacks.
ISC. I mean, look, I think
I just thought that, I'd just done that coursework. I was just wondering, I'm like, well, do you actually need an FBTB if it's like a proper ISC sweep?
so. If you have a proper ISC sweep and you're against the momentum, I would definitely wait for an FBTB.
Yeah.
100%, because you're asking for a stop otherwise. If you've had a really good ISC and then you've got a really clean MSU, then in doing so, you should have an FBTB. Because the MSU should provide you with an FBTB. So if you've got your liquidity up here, okay. Oh, shit. That was caps lock, not shift. If you've got your liquidity up here, right, and you're coming into this nice and slow, and then boom, you get your big ISC, yeah? Okay. You should, by having this, albeit it might be internal, of course, you should have an FB here of internal structure and a TB there. Again, of internal structure, but it should give you your FBTB, and then you can trade that.
Yeah. Just sometimes those sweep candles are going to be like big ones with imbalance, right? They might not have structure in them as well.
Yeah. I think at the very least, let's try and find one. I think at the very least, you probably want to be waiting for an internal shift. So what's the example? So we are trading counter momentum. So we're trading against the momentum, and we're looking for an ISC
What is an ISC?
An institutional sweep candle. This basically.
Gotcha.
ISC's there. So you're basically saying on that setup, can you trade that without an MSU, without a FBTB?
Yeah. More like external FBTB, I guess, right? Because if that was pro trend, then you could just take the F boss, the first break, right?
Yeah. If it was pro
But because
trend,
it's counter trend, but obviously you're like torn between getting in too early and then getting in too late.
so this is kind of the point I was making. So you've got something that's an hourly ISC, so it's maybe not the best example. And then your MSU kind of gifts you a shift. Look, FB, TB. That's your MSU pattern there. Look, and then your MSU sweep is there. So you kind of get it on an internal, because obviously the last range would be this down to here. So you're getting an internal shift, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you are asking for trouble. I would say that.
Let's ask it a different way. Then, when you're teaching ISCs, are you teaching them just pro trend? Pretty much, unless you've had like a daily sweep, like the
Yeah,
discount.
so where I would use them, yeah, it's like daily levels and external levels.
Not just
But if
all
I
over the
was
place.
if I was against momentum, then I would want an FB and a TB.
Yeah.
I would say the only safe place to take an ISC without any other confirmation would be if you're in line with momentum. If you're against momentum, I think you definitely need that shift. In
Yeah.
fact, 100%, I wouldn't trade against momentum without a shift. I just think it's too high a risk.
Yeah. It was more obviously not just off any sweep. It was just if you got that like there was like 3 like sexy looking ISC candles.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm sure you can find examples where it plays out nicely.
The only reason I asked is because I was doing that coursework and I wasn't sure if it was like every ISC should be pro trend kind of or like pro
No, your
trend
ISC,
only,
yeah. So, and this is why we have two models, right? You have a
like
pro,
manipulation.
a trade with momentum, a trade against momentum,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
this is why we have the two models. Yeah, I mean, typically when we're looking from a coursework perspective, when we're talking about what would be the perfect setup, you want to be looking for, and those of you who are newer, you want to be looking at trades that are in line with momentum, because what you're doing is you're making trading harder for yourself. And trading against momentum is something that I would, as a newer trader, develop when you've got a lot more experience. As an experienced trader, just make sure you're profitable trading in line with momentum first. Because if you're not profitable trading in line with momentum, then taking trades against momentum is just asking for stops, right? You're just asking, you're making it more difficult for yourself. So, yeah, it's definitely possible. It's definitely a trade entry that can work. I just think it's probably a more advanced trade entry for the time being. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, look, if nobody's got any questions, let's go through and do some analysis then, shall we? Let's kind of update our pairs and see where we are. I'm just gonna move you guys' pictures out of the way just so I can flip between the charts, and then we'll come back. So obviously looking at our daily chart, we've got FOMC in about 15 minutes. We don't expect any major news for FOMC. We expect the announcement to basically be no changes on Powell's plans. And everything I've been reading today is confirming that there should be no changes, which means ultimately we should have that's ultimately bullish for the dollar. It's good news for the dollar. So expectation is that this will continue to push higher, and we can see obviously our dollar pairs, depending on which variation of the pair, something like GU, we could see hopefully dropping. They're all in good locations. Okay, they're all in good locations. EU obviously in a good location as well. These would be, if you did want to take a trade, these would be a couple of potential trade options if you want to take a trade and capitalize on the liquidity. We've got GU obviously in a good location. Let's go through and update these one by one. I'll do EU in tomorrow's morning analysis. GU, I also had a look at AU. AU looks quite nice as well. So if you wanted to take a trade, a safe trade, so to speak, safe trade, that would be what I would potentially be looking at the moment. GU's in a good position as well. Let's just update our ranges and see where we are, and then we can kind of talk them through, and we'll see the news come and hit the marketplace as we're going through this. So previous day on GU is bearish. In terms of where we are structurally, let's get rid of some of this noise. Get rid of that. So weekly range, as you can see, is still quite bearish. So that would be our range high and range low, there and there. Weekly range and weekly range. Weekly range bearish. Previous week was bullish. And the ranges are the most important thing, remember. Okay, the ranges are the most important thing. Because although the previous candle was bullish, and the statistics show that we should expect more bullish price action, do bear in mind the fact that if the range is bearish, then that potentially will override the previous week's candle. And what that previous week's candle, what's that? So on the basis that we are bearish overall, what would we say that previous week's candle is actually doing? Potentially.
Weekly ISC.
Say again?
I said a weekly ISC.
Weekly ISC, yeah. So it's ultimately doing what? Grabbing liquidity, right?
Yeah.
So expectation is that, it's a pullback, like Danny said, a pullback, grab some liquidity, and obviously then print bearish. We had a bearish day yesterday, and our 4-hour chart. Let's just do it quickly. It's not the cleanest, but it's definitely a shift. Okay, so we're probably a bit clearer on the 2-hour. Yeah, so we've shifted now bearish on the hourly as well. So we're in a really good position on this. So we've got, other than the previous week's candle, and this is why we do this process, other than the previous week's candle, we now have all of our timeframes aligned, which is a great situation to be in. Okay, add that to the watch list. We can have a look at that tomorrow. Let's go through and have a look at USD CAD. Let's just tidy up the chart a little bit. USD CAD. USD CAD's been a bit of a rubbish position lately. It's just so congested. In fact, I'm just going to leave this. If you look at that week, you see how there's like not really any weekly range. That's really difficult price action. So when you see price action like that on like the daily and the weekly, just stay away. Stay away until there's other pairs that we can look at until then. Like, for example, USD CHF. USD CHF is much, much cleaner. So let's go down, top down. So our weekly range high and low is there and there. Let's mark that on. So weekly range high, weekly range low down here. Okay, nice and easy. So weekly range is, of course, bullish. Previous week was bearish. We've had 2 bearish weeks now in a row, as you can see. We had a shift there and bearish. But then look at how this week's printing so far. This is what we love to see. Love to see this. Look at that weekly candle so far. Clear grab of liquidity. Massive, massive, massive grab of liquidity. Let's mark that on. That's actually a weekly liquidity grab as well. So dead weekly. Let's mark that on. Go down to the daily time frame. So our daily time frame was still bullish overall. So we've had a false breaker structure as well, which means we've got a lovely trap now above here. This is like hot trot, guys. This, unless we get some fucking random announcements today, the dollar pairs are looking brilliant for the rest of the week. So let's add that to our watch list as well. Dollar range is obviously bullish. Previous candle was inside bull, high bull. Okay, so an inside candle, so it's inside the previous candle, which shows contraction. That's good. We like to see that. And let's have a look at our hourly. Hourly. Yeah, we've got a nice shift there. First break, true break. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So if I drop down to the 2-hour, you can see it a little bit more clearly. So you've got that little push there. I mean, technically that's a first break of the external. That was our last range. But I'm pretty confident that that is a shift, so I'm going to mark that on as our current structure. So I like the look of that, definitely like the look of that. And I'm happy that that's now shifted back round. So that's bullish, bullish, bullish. Okay, cool. So that's looking good. Don't like the dollar, the yen pairs at the moment. They're just, we've got loads of liquidity building up here. I'm not in a huge hurry to trade any of this. We've got definitely bullish structure, definitely, we're in a bullish range. Daily range is, I mean, we're kind of bearish on the daily. It's difficult to read. It's really difficult to read. I find when I'm scratching my head and looking, what am I doing? What am I doing? I just like, well, do you know what? If I can't clearly see it, just fucking get rid of it. And I don't like any of the yen pairs. See all this noise? See all this contraction? I hate all of that. Every single one of them is basically the same. So just get rid of them. I'm just not interested in looking at any of them right now. Just get rid of them all. They're all dead to me. Aussie CAD. Obviously had some CAD news today. That shook at the market a little bit. Weekly range is still bullish so far. We've had a nice rejection from that low. Daily, bullish. Previous week was bullish as well. So previous week was bullish. Nice bullish confirmations on the weekly. Daily, we've got, okay, so let's just mark this out. Okay, so we've got a first break on the daily. So the daily range right now is still bearish, technically. Okay, technically we're still bearish on the daily range. We've got a first break right now. First break. And we are currently bearish. Previous day was also bearish. Okay, so we need to be a bit careful on Aussie CAD. Don't think it's quite ready yet. 4 hour, let's get rid of that tool for now. 4 hour is also looks like it's shifted as well. Failure to make a new high. Yeah, so we're actually bearish on the hourly as well. So confused, basically, just not ready to go. I'm going to leave it out my watch list for now. Feel like if we get some sort of pullback down to here, then we could be set for some sort of liquidity move, and then we can obviously grab higher. But right now, just not quite ready. GBP CAD, this is just so overextended now. Obviously, it messed about a little bit today. I'm a little bit upset with GBP CAD because it was just being a little bitch. Right, little bitch. Just stopping us out, sweeping us out. That trader came out early. That trader got a full stop on. I was only on a small position because I was at the end of my day anyway. But yeah, that was a bit of a shit one. And again, look, we're way above EPA. We've got all of this gap in here. I feel like we're going to get a correction, and that kind of lines up with the fact that we are bearish on Aussie CAD as well. And I mean, it doesn't line up with the dollar, but this is a mess, right? This is a mess, so we don't know where we're going either way. So who cares? CAD pair's probably out for the rest of the week. In fact, I'm going to get rid of them. Let's move them. Get out of the watch list. Get out of the watch list. And put GBP USD up there. There. Right, let's go and have a look at some of the more fringe pairs. So this one, again, a little bit difficult at the moment. Not really much we can see on this. Let's just clear the chart up a little bit. Let's see what we've got. What was that? Let's get rid of that. Right, okay, so weekly. Let's have a look. So that's actually, again, it's quite hard to read. The beauty of having multiple pairs to pay attention to is we can be a little bit more critical as to what we're actually looking at. So that's the daily, that's the weekly. That's all looking good. Bullish and bullish. So bullish weekly range, bullish daily range. Previous week was inside bull. Previous week was inside bull. Daily range was bullish. Previous day was bullish. Inside bull again. Inside bull. We are very bullish overall on Euro Aussie. But it's just, again, it's just ugly. It's just difficult price action to trade with. And you know, I see when you see these like big moves that start slowing down, that indicates to me that we're setting up for something. We're setting up for some sort of pullback. So, for example, if I draw this as my range, my current bullish range, okay, I would want to see some sort of return to discount. So I can mark that on. I'll put that on as orange, and I'm going to put this one on as orange as well because they need development. They're not in my watch list, but they need development ultimately. So I'm taking them out of the watch list. Euro GBP, it's been absolutely beautiful. Obviously, last few days, you know, it's just been, and this is why me and Sam kind of came up with this idea to just, monitor multiple pairs and make sure everything's lined up. Look at how clean all this price action is. It's just been so easy to get into and trade. So Euro GBP is still, on my favorite list at the moment. Everything's in line at the moment. Weekly range, obviously bearish. Previous week was obviously bearish. Daily range is, let's have a look. So we've got quite a bit. It's quite a difficult daily range, to be fair. It's quite a difficult daily range. Let's get rid of that and get rid of that. So let's have a look. What have we got? It's very, to be fair, daily range. It's a difficult one because it has shifted quite clearly. We go for like 12 hours. Let's see what we get on the 12 hour. Yeah, so that gives us a little bit clearer. It's still, there's an argument to say that the daily range is actually bullish. Unless we class that as a shift. It's really difficult to read. The daily range is actually really difficult to read. Let's just mark the daily range on accurately, which is bullish. But other than that, as you can see, everything is bearish, right? Previous bearish, everything is bearish. Range, previous day, obviously bearish. Okay. So sometimes, you need to use your common sense and be like, right, okay, well, our daily range is still bullish, but everything else is bearish. So, common sense says we can trade in line with that. So that's still one of my favorites for the rest of the week. And Bitcoin, I'm just not sure what's going on with Bitcoin at the moment. It's, at this all-time high level. It's a really difficult place to take a trade. If I want to take a trade, I want it to come down here somewhere, come down to this discount pricing and go from there. Anyway, right, let's jump over to the dollar. FOMC is about to hit, so let's see what happens. Go from there. I'll bring you guys back in. Where have you gone? Let's see. Obviously, markets are about to go wild, potentially. Time's it's 7 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We've got like a nice big push, ideally. We've got quite a nice setup on the dollar, to be fair. In fact, have we done our dollar analysis? Done our dollar analysis? I can't remember. Yeah, we did, didn't we? Did we do this?
You started on that.
Bullish. Previous week was bearish. Daily range is what is the daily range right now? At a false break, so daily range is still bullish. And the previous day was bullish. There is bullish, and we've obviously first break here. True break was up there. Mark that on. True break up there. So yeah, we're bullish on all time frames now, which is good. Apart from the previous week, but again, as we acknowledged, bit of a liquidity sweep. So as expected, nice bullish push. Okay, this is where these fundamentals can really help you guys, right? You need to understand that, getting a clear understanding of what we can expect from these news events can put you in a, really strong position. Okay, so let's say if you had taken one of these trades, like the Euro USD trade, for example, be nicely into profit now, running towards profit. There are times where news events can be a little bit confusing. You don't really know what to do or how to trade it. And there's other times like this where, they're pretty obvious. We know that the US economy was looking very strong anyway. We know that this has been kind of factored in for the last week. So FOMC typically, unless there's a lot of kind of confusion around it, FOMC typically, you will be in a position where it's often priced in. So usually the sentiment of the week of FOMC will normally indicate where the market is likely to be headed, likely to head next, unless there's some extreme announcement. Okay. And sometimes Powell will come out and just mess with us a little bit, but I kind of expected this, which is why I kind of marked up those trades. By the way, I didn't take these trades. Just want to be clear on that. I didn't take these trades. These are the trades that I would have taken. I don't really like trading before news events, but I do like testing my analysis and making sure my theory is right and things like that. So yeah, it's one of them. and this is, this is quite common for FOMC, is you can have these like wild sweeps of price and go one way and another way and things like that. So, depending on what Powell's up to and what he's chatting on, can impact it ultimately. So yeah, nice big bullish push. Hopefully that should continue. Take out that trap and then potentially put us in a good position for tomorrow. GU would have dropped. Look, AU would have dropped. UCAD will have climbed. USD CHF would have climbed. Oh, really big push on USD CHF. I think Sam was in that trade. Is Sam in here? Sam here? He's not, is he? No. Oh, he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, got taken out break even.
What? How?
Yeah, that pullback there just before.
You... Come on. Come on.
I know.
You went break even.
Come on.
You went break even. That
FOMC,
tight,
mate.
right bullet, right before FOMC. How tight was your stop? Was it below these lows?
Yeah.
Or was it below these lows?
No.
Mm.
You know where my stop would be.
Yeah, your stop would be at you take profit at the time. You're negative stop loss. When you hit stop loss, you actually make profit. It's so high up. How's your shoulder?
So,
Is it?
mate. Yeah.
So, Sam, actually, I hope you don't mind me saying. So, Sam contacted me the other day. He said, "Oh, I've had a furious masturbating injury, so I'm not going to be able to use the mouse particularly well if I'm a bit quiet in the group." He said, basically, I bought a bottle of vodka at the weekend and I was up for 12 hours just furiously masturbating myself into oblivion. He's had to have a full shoulder. Is it a full shoulder replacement?
Full rebuild, mate.
The doctor said he's never seen a forearm that big before in his life.
Custom made sling.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Seriously though, are you doing all right?
Yeah, Sam. It's just so.
Good man. Good man. Well, look, that's me spent, guys. Unless anyone wants me to go through anything or talk over anything at all. Watch this is looking good for the rest of the week. I'm pretty sure I took that out. Just get rid of that.
What, your EU sell today, did you just take that from the EPA and EQ and then the shift?
This one?
Yeah, because it doesn't really
Yeah,
take
it was just so in an ideal scenario, so I saw this sweep and then I saw this sweep. Okay. In an ideal scenario, I would have had an MSU entry in here. So
Yeah.
basically I was bearish overall for the same reasons that we've just discussed. I was bearish overall. My expectation was that we were going to get some sort of shift. I saw this flattening of price, and I really had hoped I would have got an entry in here. It's a little bit early for me, but I would have gotten maybe a little bit afterwards. After we then came back and then pulled back, it was just a really simple. I just entered on like a higher time frame. I think it's a 5-minute MSU I was looking at, or maybe a 3-minute. Yeah, that was it basically. And I timed it really, really well. So I was always going to place my stop around here. Okay, because I thought it was unlikely we'd climb any higher than that. That was my MSU sweep there, as you can see. And I timed it really well. I just ended up catching it at that time. If I'd been on the market, if I'd been sat, I was out with a dog at the time when I actually caught the trade. If I'd been at the markets when when the manipulation had happened, I would have probably entered in something like that. So it actually did me a bit of a favor being out and about. And so, yeah, so that was kind of the position that I ultimately ended up taking. But yeah, nothing really special. Sometimes, guys, when you just see, when you've got, and this is the whole purpose, and we talk about this all the time, right? So pre-market analysis is the most fucking important thing that you can do. Okay, it's the most important thing that you can do. Acknowledging your pre-market, excuse me, acknowledging your pre-market analysis takes the guesswork out of trading. So for me, and apologies because I didn't actually send out any analysis today, so irony there. I did my analysis this morning because I had a busy morning. I did my analysis this morning at 5 a.m. and my son's room is literally behind me, so I can't go on the microphone because I'll be going like this. And EU looks like it might be good for a sell today, and that would just be boring for everyone. Okay, so I did my analysis, set my charts up, and then I just got busy. So apologies. Bad person. I'll make sure we have double analysis tomorrow. Okay. So I did my morning analysis. I knew I was looking for shorts. And so for me, when I saw that setup, I was like, right, I can get involved on that. Now, I would highly recommend, highly recommend to everybody. And in fact, for those of you that are trading, especially if you're trading on live accounts, it is a requirement that you post daily analysis in the community. That is part of your job now. Okay. In the same way, like when you go to the gym, you should warm up. Okay. You should warm up. You should stretch off, active stretching, get your blood flowing, all that sort of stuff. Because when you're in your 20s, you might be all right doing your training without it. But you get to my age and you get to 36, and you go set up for your deadlifts and you haven't warmed up, you fucking throw your back out. Okay, eventually you're going to get injured. And in trading, injured means you lose all your money. Okay. I know all of you will have experienced this. You'll have been sat at the markets in the morning. You won't have found a trade. And then New York comes in the afternoon, and you go on the charts and you think you found this perfect trade. And so you take it, right? You take that trade and you're like, yes, I found this amazing fucking trade. And it's a buy, right? It's a buy in a bearish marketplace, but you haven't realized that yet. And then the trade fails, okay? And then you go and do your review, or you take your time out, because when the market's moving, you're like, I've got to get in. I've got to get in now. So you take an impulsive trade, and then you come to the end of the day and you sit down when the trade's finished and you've lost, half your house on it. And you come and sit down at the end of the day and you look at the trade and you do some proper analysis and you're like, fuck, I should never have taken that in the first place. Everyone had that moment before.
Oh,
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had that moment before? Matt, Joe, had those moments where you take a trade and you should never have taken it in the first place. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to be acknowledged that there's kids around. And I'm just like effing and jeffing everywhere. Apologies. So, got to be careful now. Right. So, when you do silly billy things like that, okay, it should make you realize that making foolish mistakes costs you money in the long run. But sadly, as traders, what happens is the next day we go into the marketplace, and despite our best wishes and reassurances that we're going to do our daily analysis, we're late for work, and you got to get your kid to school, and you just realize there's no milk, so now you've got to have like the end bit of bread for toast in the morning instead of like getting some Cocoa Pops in you. So your day gets off to a bad start, and then you end up not doing daily analysis again. You miss London because you're in a meeting during the day where your perfect trade would have set up, and you sit there and you're like, oh, I've just missed my perfect trade. Oh, gosh darn it. I've missed my perfect trade. But don't worry. I found this perfect reversal pattern again on Euro USD. Yeah, I know it's bullish. Sorry. Yeah, I know it's bearish overall. And yeah, I know I got stung with this yesterday, but today it's definitely going to work out. And you take the trade and it fails. And now you've lost the other half of your house. And you get home in that evening and you do your analysis and you're like, oh, bloody hell, I shouldn't have taken that trade again. And it's a constant repeating cycle where you think you know better than the market, and you don't know better than the market. Historically, and I love this little, is it an anecdote? It's not an anecdote. I love this little thing that I say, right? Very narcissistic of me. Historically, you, and I'm talking to each of you individually, you are not very good traders. And that's not me being mean. For the most of my career, I've not been a very good trader. I've actually been a pretty rubbish trader, because most of my trading career, I've lost money. 6 out of my 10 years trading, I've lost money. So what that should tell you is that if most of the time you've been unprofitable, trusting your gut instincts or trading on feel or emotion is going to keep you skint. It's going to keep you in the same position that you're in. Okay? You can break that cycle by implementing these things that I've proven work. And one of those things that I would say is incredibly important is daily analysis, because it takes the guesswork out of trading. I was only able to catch that trade because I knew I was only looking for shorts. Simple as that. I knew my higher time frames were in line. I knew that everything I was looking for was in line. All my time frames were in line. I had my fundamental backing as well towards supporting my trade idea, because I know the dollar's pretty bullish at the moment, or hawkish sentiment, as they call it in the fundamental world. So for me, taking that trade was really, really simple. But there would have been a time where I'd seen the market do that, and I might have bought it because it's taken liquidity. And if I hadn't done any other analysis, I might look at that and think, do you know what? I'm going to take a buy there. So it's one of those things where you've just got to be really careful, and you've got to understand what type of trader that you want to be. So for example, Matt, you took that trade, you took that buy, right? And for Matt's trading strategy and his trading model, that worked, and he's going through a testing phase. But I love that because Matt is following his trading rules, and he's going to find out in a month or two whether his trading rules are looking after him or whether they're costing him money. Right now, at a 1R risk, they're actually making him some good profits. But when he puts that data into his trading plan, into his trading journal, and he fills out his strategy tester, you might find out that he only makes profits on this particular model that he's using at 1R. And actually, if he wants to make bigger profits at 2R, there's certain trade models that he needs to miss out. For example, it could be that counter momentum play. Okay, it could be that the pro momentum plays, so the trades with momentum, are putting him in a financially good position, but the trades against momentum are, only profitable until 1R. So Matt's then got two choices. He can either get rid of the counter momentum plays, or, and this would be the smart, and this is part of the refining process, the smart play is you counter momentum plays you hold to 1R because they're profitable up to 1R, and everything else you hold for 2 or 3. Now he's got a really refined strategy where he can make money in both directions, but he has the data to prove it. And this is, I bang on about it all the time, and I know it's boring, okay, but it's all about data. The data that you collect is so important to your profitability as a trader. The more data you can collect, the more profitable you will become. And it's just as simple as that. It doesn't get more simple than that. All right. Anyway, that's the lecture over. I want to see more daily analysis. There's some of you that are really good with it. Matt, you're great with it. Linny, you're good with it. Sam, you're diabolical with it. KB, brilliant. Anton, brilliant. Dom, when you're on it as well. To be fair, I know you have your odd days where you're really busy, but you're normally pretty good with it as well. Carlo as well. I see you every now and again. You newer guys, you're off the hook because I haven't set you any assignments at the moment. So it's just Sam letting down the team, really.
Yours. Picking on me tonight.
Not really great though, is it? As like the most experienced trader in the group.
Cheers for that.
It's an embarrassment. It's embarrassing.
Cheers for that.
And the thing is, look, Sam can get away with it because he is such an experienced trader, right? He can get away with it. But there'll be times where even someone like Sam, and even myself is a perfect example, where we won't do our analysis and you'll make stupid mistakes. The difference with maybe Sam and I is that we'll make stupid mistakes, we'll pay the price for it, and then we'll get back on those routines that keep us safe going forward. Okay, and that's all it is. In an ideal scenario, we'd all be absolute robots. We'd all, and it's exactly the same as anything else. Exactly the same as, going to the toilet and washing your hands. Like, you don't have to do that every single time, right? In fact, you only got to wash your hands once a week, right? That's pretty normal. No? I'm getting some weird faces now. No, joking, that was obviously a joke. I wash my hands all the time, every time. But you know what I'm saying, right? Okay, you can allow yourself the occasional day off from these basics, just like you can go into the gym and every now and again you can not warm up. But if you don't warm up consistently, and you never warm up in the gym, you're eventually going to get injured. And the same thing is going to apply with trading. In fact, in trading, it's going to have more of an impact because it's going to impact you financially. It's going to impact you a lot quicker. You can probably get away with 2-3 months of not warming up in your training without getting an injury. You probably can't get away with 2 or 3 days without having some significant losses. And the problem with not doing the forecasting as well, the daily analysis part of it, is because you'll then go into the marketplaces and make mistakes, and then you'll start it affects everything that you do. I.e., if you've planned your day out and you take a trade which fails, you're only going to wait for a second setup in line with your analysis, right? If you don't do any analysis and your trade fails, and again, I'm sure you've all been here, you're going to have one of those days where you think it's a buy and then it starts selling. So you close it and then you set up a sell. Have you done this before? Where you do a buy and then you close it because it moves in the wrong direction. Then you do a sell and then you close it because it moves in the wrong direction. And before you know it, you've had like 7 positions on, and each one of them you've lost like 0.1 or 0.2 or something like that. You can take the guesswork out of your trading by doing these analysis sessions. And it takes, I'm not joking, I record one every day and it takes me 10 minutes. Okay. You guys doing it on your own, we're talking like 5 to 10 minutes. You want to see it as important as putting pants on. Hopefully everyone puts pants on every day.
Yeah, sometimes that woman's knickers, but it depends what day it is.
Yeah, that's fair. It's still pants. It's still pants. All right. You wouldn't leave the house without a pair of trousers or shorts on. Let's use that one. You wouldn't leave the house without a pair of shoes on, would you? Ever? Like to go out of the house. I'm not talking about like doing the bins. You're not going out of the house without your shoes on. Your daily analysis and forecasting should be as important as that. You should be thinking to yourself, I cannot leave the house without shoes on, i.e., the flip side of that is, I cannot take a trade today unless I've done my analysis. And just make it routine. I promise you, it makes a huge, huge difference, Sam. Cool.
How far back do you look in your analysis, Chris?
Mm?
The day before, the week before, what?
When do I do analysis?
When you do your analysis,
Yeah.
of what you're going to trade, how far, how far back do you look?
So I look at different time frames. So I'm looking at my monthly candle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my weekly range. Basically everything we've gone through today. Weekly range, my previous week's candle, my daily range, my previous day's candle, and my 4-hour ranges.
Right.
And when I say 4-hour as well, I know it's a bit confusing. Sometimes I have to use the 2-hour or the 1 hour to decide what that is. So sometimes I will use like if the 4 hour isn't clear, sometimes I have to use like a 2-hour or a 1 hour chart for it to be clear, because sometimes the candles are a bit like congested.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always looking at an hourly, and then that kind of sets my momentum then, and then I can decide how I want to play it from then. I am acknowledging the 15-minute and the 5-minute as well, but I don't mark them up in the top right like I have here. I just know, I can see it. Like for example, I look at this now, I can very clearly see that my 5-minute is bearish, right? Okay. Yes, we've had this first break up here. Okay, but that doesn't what I'm trying to say? Yeah, we've had this first break up here, which has taken the liquidity above this liquidity high up here, but we haven't actually shifted. Okay, we haven't shifted in the opposing direction just yet. So this for me is just a first break. This therefore will be a trap that ultimately then is a target for price. That's where I'm expecting price to move to next. Okay. So yeah, I think that's enough for tonight. You probably had enough of me blabbering on anyway. Does anyone have any questions?
Good.
Cool. Well, look, hopefully we can get some nice moves overnight. What I'd really like to see, so where are we right now? What I'd really like to see is price to come down and take some of this low, and then that will create a new range from this high to this low, of course. Okay, taking out that trap. And then I'd like overnight a bit of a pullback, and then a setup for tomorrow to go short. That's what I'd love to see. That would be my target over the next 24 hours or so. So let's see if we can get that. We've obviously got a few pairs that are lined up together. We've got GU lined up. GU is actually in a really good position now. To be fair, if you wanted to take a trade and you were like, oh, I want to trade now, that, I know it's not a great RR, but that's not a bad position. It's a nice 1R position. You can get in and out of that nice and easily. Okay, if you wanted to take a trade, or if you wanted to mark up a trade and just see the kind of the strategy in action, so to speak, that would be a semi-decent trade. To be fair, I think we'd probably get the low broken, and I think it's unlikely to take out that high. Grab some liquidity. Depends on the momentum, really. It's late in the day to take a trade, to be fair. So I wouldn't be rushing into anything. Aussie, I really like the look of this trap below here, by the way. So if I was in a trade Aussie, I'd be looking to hold that trade all the way down here tomorrow. So we've got a nice area for Aussie as well. USD CHF obviously had a massive move. USD CHF, really, really good move. We're not in a great position anymore for USD CHF.
Yo, check. What about all the like news traps that have just been created? Would you not be?
I don't normally put FOMC in the same category as like a typical news trap.
Yeah.
It might come back to retest, but yeah, it's a difficult one. Basically, because I don't trade at this time of night, I wouldn't trade the news trap because I wouldn't be looking for a reversal now, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
maybe if it like swept the low, then the trap's more valid. That it might come back up.
yeah, potentially.
Whatever.
Yeah, and let's not, we've obviously had a bullish move, but it's not a particularly great bullish, sorry, a bullish move on the dollar, but it's not a particularly great bullish move, as you can see. It's quite, it's quite tentative, isn't it? So,
I don't think the numbers changed. That was just 45.
yeah, and that was what was expected, is that it was going to stay the same, which just ultimately means that the positive bullish guideline is going to continue. Look, when you look at the chart right now, right. If you look at the momentum, and I always tell you guys to do this. Look at it. Doesn't really matter. Like, with the greatest respects, it doesn't really matter about all of this stuff. All this stuff doesn't really matter, because if, let's say, this is the high that reverses price, then price will reverse at it, right? So right now we're bullish. We can very clearly see that we're bullish, right? Let's move that over here. Okay, right now we can see that we're bullish. We've had a shift, and then we've had a true break. So the likelihood is that it can continue doing something like this. If it does reverse off this daily range high, we're going to get a reversal, right? So if that happens, then you've got all of this price action that you can use. So, we use the higher time frame because it could give us early warning signals, but Sam and I discuss this all the time. We often wonder whether or not, actually, do you know what, if you just traded like the hourly and the 15-minute, whether you could be just as profitable. I don't know. I'm not ready to get rid of my higher time frames at the end of the day, but that's something that we definitely want to have a look at to see whether maybe you can just simplify things. Maybe you do lose a couple of positions in here, but you just literally trade, the hourly time frames. And maybe all of this stuff to the left is that actually a lot less relevant than maybe we think it is. I don't know. For now, it's working. For now, it's very profitable. But as always, if we can find a way to make you guys more profitable, then we will do. All right. Any questions? No? Cool. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Yeah, no, Dom. He's gone, actually. Yeah, I know he did message me earlier, so he's just put a comment up. Right, well, look, if you need anything at all, I'll be around most of the evening, around all day tomorrow. I promise you I will get an analysis up in the morning. I'll definitely do analysis because we'll have the kind of the post FOMC moves as well. So let's see what we get tomorrow. Hopefully get some good trades tomorrow. Who caught the Euro USD position earlier? Did anyone else get on it?
I tried you, right, but I had that mess up with the new.
Not getting in the back of it.
No, I didn't.
I got GU.
It's too late.
Fair. You got GU, did you?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same trade, wasn't it?
Nice. Yeah. Good work, guys. Well, look, hopefully you have another good day tomorrow. It's been a great week so far. I think we're two out of 4 because that GBP CAD, I'm counting that as a loss, even though it was a much smaller position, or I'm counting it as a loss. So 2 out of 4, 50% so far this week. I'm all right with that. Happy with that all day long. Because both trades have been about like 3R, nearly 4R. So, we're up to some good profit so far for this week. Keep an eye on the chat. Especially keep an eye on my analysis channel tomorrow, especially if you want to take some trades, because there'll hopefully be some good positions tomorrow. And yeah, I'll catch you on the morning. Cheers, guys.
See you later.
See you later.
Yes.
Bye.